Hello, everyone. Mike Ballantyne here. I am one of the people who is doing all gloves off sports media, and this is one of our podcasts on our channel. So you can look at the Red Hot Reds podcast. You can also watch Football with Cheese. You can see Sports with Sirhan, or you can also, tomorrow night, in fact, watch myself and Cheese do Lights Out Sports on our podcast tomorrow. But today, it is the debut of seeing the whole field with myself, Mike Ballantyne. All right, let's jump in. So, as most of you have probably seen by now, I put some stuff on social media as far as both Facebook and X that I went to the Charlie Kirk Memorial on Sunday. Although I'm aware that this is a sports channel, I want to kind of connect the dots between the two. So we're going to take the next few minutes and do so. The Jets, Cardinals, Dolphins, Saints, Titans, Chiefs, and Cowboys all had moments of silence, not yesterday, but a week before yesterday, right after the Charlie Kirk passing. And the Steelers put their flags at half-mast. Now, there were 7 teams that did not recognize Charlie Clark. And those were the Bengals, the Lions, the Colts, the Vikings, the Steelers. They didn't actually recognize him. They did do that with their flags, but they didn't actually recognize him. And the Ravens. Now, am I upset about this? Am I mad at any of these teams? Absolutely not. But I do have to say that the NFL confuses me with their decisions. On the first night, that Thursday night football game between the Packers and the Commanders, again, this was a couple weeks ago, okay, right after Charlie Kirk's incident happened. When they were at Lambeau Field, there was a moment of silence. And you may say, well, good for the Packers. But that really would not be the case. In a statement released by the NFL, they said, and I want to make sure you're going to see me look down. I want to make sure that I quote it correctly. It said, last night's moment was the league's decision. It's up to the club. It's up to the clubs, plural, because there's more than one of them, obviously. So it's up to the clubs for Sunday's game. MLB, on the other hand, asked all of the clubs to follow the direction of the White House presidential proclamation and fly their flags at half-mast in their ballparks, according to a Major League Baseball spokesperson. Now, I've read a lot about this, done a lot of research on this, and I know Fox News reached out to, not that I'm a big Fox News guy, but I know they did it because I read about it. So they reached out to the NHL, the NBA, and the WNBA, and none of them responded. And they, at least to my knowledge, and you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, they did absolutely nothing. Here's where I have the problem. And in a moment, I'm going to connect all these dots together for you. So the problem that I have is the Vikings honored George Floyd. They hosted his family for their season opener. They pledged $5 million to a social justice cause, and they even made a scholarship in Floyd's name. That was one of the teams that didn't recognize Charlie Kirk. Also, a team that didn't recognize Charlie Kirk were the Indianapolis Colts. And soon after George Floyd's incident, they created a new staff position that was called Director of Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion. The Ravens, another team that refused to honor Charlie Kirk. The Ravens had a moment of silence for George Floyd and not Kirk. And the Ravens actually went a little bit further on their social media because Lamar Jackson, Ravens MVP quarterback, did an X post. And that X post was from one of their former players. I'm sorry, you're gonna hear that a little bit in the background. I apologize. From a former Ravens wide receiver, Torrey Smith. And this is what Torrey said on this post that Lamar Jackson reposted. It said, celebrating the death of someone you don't share the same beliefs as is wild. Seeing it play out in real time is disgusting. Those are the words of Torrey Holt. And if the Ravens wanted to, they could have just simply reposted it or liked it or something like that, but they chose not to. They chose to do nothing. The Detroit Lions, another team that did recognize Floyd but did not recognize Kirk, they released the following statement in conjunction with George Floyd's death. It says, "Right is right and wrong is wrong. What is happening is not acceptable." So do they think that what happened to George Floyd wasn't acceptable, but what happened to Charlie Kirk was acceptable? I don't know. Sending a mixed message. That's what I'm more upset about than anything. Here's the last one. The Houston Texans actually did a moment of silence, but when they did so, they never mentioned the name Charlie Kirk. I thought that was interesting. So I'm going to give another guy some credit on this too. Robert Cattell. I hope that's how you pronounce your last name, Robert. He does, and he wrote an article for Stadium Rant that I read and I really, really liked. So I wanted to make sure I gave him the credit for it. We just need to stop ignoring this stuff and hope it goes away, because it's not going to go away, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. And whether you believe or you don't believe in the same things that Kirk, or if you believe or don't believe in the Floyd incident and how all that took place, that really doesn't have any bearing on this whatsoever. What I'm upset about is that it's not all fair. If you're going to do something for Floyd, you should do something for Kirk. And if you did something for Kirk, you should do something for Floyd and all of that stuff in between. We'll get into that a little bit more here in just a second. But the NFL has approved 5 slogans that can be stenciled in the back of the end zones and worn on the back of the helmets. And they call this in the NFL the Social Justice Initiative. The 5 slogans are: End Racism, Stop Hate, Choose Love, Inspire Change, and It Takes All of Us. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th. And then the next day, of course, was September 11th. That was the day of the terrorist attacks on this country, on our country. The event that pissed us off in the beginning and then reunited us in the end. Remember King? No, not Martin Luther. Rodney, the black man who was pulled from his semi and severely beaten during the LA riots. Do you remember what question he asked? It was, can't we all just get along? And guys and gals, I love sports, and sports can heal us. Sports can bring Americans together, not Asian Americans, not Native Americans, not African Americans, not Mexican Americans, just Americans. Remember when President Bush defiantly walked out and threw a strike from the Yankee Stadium mound? And the hats that they wore during that time, where it had all the first responder insignias on them? Remember how that just brought us all back together? I do. And it was beautiful. And we can do it again. And here's my challenge for every sports team, whether professional, little league, lacrosse, whatever it is. This is my challenge to all of you. Gather in unity. One team on one side, one team on the other. Whether it be one on each side of center ice, one on each side of the 50-yard line, one on each side of center court, around the pitcher's mound, or whatever you want it to be. Let me go a step further. Let's call it the American Unity Challenge. TikTok and all these other things love to put out these challenges for you guys to do. I want to put a challenge out for everyone to do all of these sports teams right now. Let's call it the American Unity Challenge, and prove that even though we don't agree with each other on every little thing, we can come together. And when you guys do this, record it and hashtag me. I'll put it back out there. Hopefully we'll make this a huge movement. Not that I'm trying to put my name to it. I want this to be something that we do across the country. The American Unity Challenge. And hashtag all gloves off. And I'll retweet each and every one of them that you guys do. Because even though we don't agree with each other on every little thing, we can come together. Choose love. Stop hate. End racism. And inspire change. Because it'll take all of us. Thank you all very much for listening. I appreciate it. And let's unify as Americans.